Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is best of 3 series between Adjux and Robogear. That's right, Adjux has returned to 1v1. Lured back with the promise of a huge prize pool. The biggest, one of the biggest. Actually, I don't know what the biggest prize pool. I'm sure there's probably quite large ones at the beginning, funded by GPG. This is the biggest one I can remember by a long way. And this is the 2019 End of Year Championship. This is the Qualifier tournament, one of the 4 Qualifier tournaments. I want to plug... Let's see. Yes, Robogear did a cast. About a week ago now, I forgot to plug for him. Nexus vs Pepsi. Quite a nice cast. Robogear straight in with the high quality content. Hopefully he makes more. Who else do we have? Well, we also have many craze. Robogear. Dogfather's making casts. And yeah, check all those out. Especially Robogear. Try and get him to make more casts. So always nice to have more casters, especially casters who have a good understanding of the game. So, let's see, who do we have here? We have Robogear and Adjux. Adjux going with the Seraphim. He is a classic Seraphim player. And Robogear going with the UEF, which is actually, knowing Robogear, he may have gone random here. I don't think anyone would knowingly choose UEF on this map. I think they're the worst faction on this map. I think Cyber and Aeon and Seraphim all have quite good characteristics. For Eye of the Storm, the UEF not so much. But here we go. We have also, this is the new FAF version of Eye of the Storm. There were reclaim changes which changed the little pole into a... Well, it didn't give you 300 mass anymore. There used to be a little thing here. Give you 300 mass, so then it gave you sweet fuck all. So it was replaced with a little dock, which gives 300 mass, which is quite nice. And Svenny Bad Boy did those changes thanks to him. He also fixed a couple other maps and fixed all the reclaim props. Fixed, adjusted, however you want to call it. So let's see, we have 2 air factories up already from Adjux. Robogear, 2 factories up, 2 air factories up. 3rd air factory planned, a lot of power planned. Let's see, is anyone wasting power? Nope. Nobody's wasting anything. They're not wasting time, energy, resources. Look at that. 500 power and storage. That's what you need, friends. No waste, no excess fat on your economy. Trim the fat, but don't lose too much weight. Don't be underweight. Don't have too little power to fund all of that air you're going to spam on this map. So actually, here's something. Adjux is going north with his ACU, and this is unusual. I can't remember the last time I've seen this actually. In the previous cast we did, not the previous one before that, we saw Turbo and Tagada both go to middle, and I think they did that twice because they drew one time and had to replay, and they both went to middle. So now we have Robogear going in the normal direction, which is across, horizontally across the map. Adjux going north with his ACU. And this is unusual. Adjux has a slight advantage in that he has T1 hover units. He isn't using them yet though. He does have 3 air factories. Actually, that is a slightly different build actually. So he went north. He also moved his ACU to the Hydro and centralized all his build power can see Robogear did a different thing where he builds 2 factories without moving his ACU, basically. And so you're building here and here at the same time. Adjux avoids that by moving north. Now normally you wouldn't move to the Hydra because you're moving left, so then you would be wasting time moving north and then left. So interesting. Advantages there for moving vertically in the build order. And Adjux is... will he turn this into a draw? This was looking like a loss. And it's still looking like a slight loss. Maybe not. Well, that's a close fight. I hear a bomber. Yes, from Adjux. Takes out the engineer in the middle, and that's a pretty nice advantage for him. He's going to get this reclaim. He's going to get all the mexes. Barring maybe this bomber doing something about it. Some of these tanks are here, and tanks from Adjux have run past, and he's going to lose his engineer. Surely Adjux is going to lose his engineer now. The scout does go down, which is going to harm him. Bomber attempting to defend versus Thams. It's not going to be too successful, and these tanks from Robogear are not moving forward to take out the engineer. If he gets his factory up, he's going to be quite lucky, I think. So Adjux also coming from the bottom is closer. He's taken this 300 mass reclaim. And he's getting factories up now. Robogear slightly faster on the factories though. I'm sure they both know at this point that they're in the same corner. Transport out for Robogear. Do we have one from Adjux? I don't see one, but we do have the first naval factory. Actually, the first naval unit is already out for Robogear. Adjux is a bit slower. Will he... well, he doesn't go for a torp defense. But he does spread out his engineers a bit. I think he's afraid of bombers. And also could be afraid of this frigate when it arrives. It may just kill all these engineers. But Adjux will have his own frigate out by then, thanks to a lot of assistance and having some well-balanced economy. Has mass to spend. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Empty mass and power. And this engineer does survive and finish this factory, which is pretty big. Also, we have another factory here. I do like building a factory here. You get double adjacency. And it is in quite a good position to help you defend your most exposed mexes. I hear another bomber. 2 bombers, in fact. And they are, again, trying to defend against these Thams. The Thams have already blazed a trail through some of Robogear's mexes. And Robogear is actually going to be forced into water here. He has less units. The reinforcements from the base actually making the difference because Robogear had faster factories beside his ACU. And Adjux is on full HP. Robogear meanwhile has lost 4k at least, or more even. He is working on those tanks, trying to get a veterancy. He's quite far from a veterancy though. Robogear needs to save his own tanks now. But Adjux is only shooting the ACU, which could be a mistake, and now he's sort of surrounded. But he's very close to the water, so he can just go for a quick dip. Wet his feet. And somehow Adjux is the one that ends up in the water, but Robogear has far less HP. Drop from Robogear here. I have sped up the game slightly because we're going to cast all 3. And Robogear looks like he's secured this corner. Adjux has gone the middle for free. Has to be said. Totally for free. This is huge. This could be the main difference here in this game right now. Adjux and Robogear, their HPs have gotten slightly closer, but still Robogear dangerously low now. But it looks like Adjux will secure this. He has more units, has an engineer. And the air fight is happening, and it's happening. There's a couple of anti-airs. It's also happening over a cliff, a mountain, which is quite annoying at times for how the units work. But that's a complete draw. That is a complete draw. Few kills on the anti-airs. They actually did make a difference. Robogear needs to maybe get the hell out of there. He needs to get the hell out of here as well, because damn, now with he can't defend with his ACU without dying, but can't defend with anything else either. He could lose the factories. There's Zoos in here which are absolutely necessary to actually kill UEF buildings with their high HP. Very nice drop here from Robogear, and he's actually going to redrop. Oh, I love that. That's very nice. See, he's done the damage. Pick them up again and try and drop, but he's not going to be successful in that drop though. And there go those units. Adjux has a bunch of units over here. I don't know how they got there or why, or well, I have a lot of questions. But Adjux runs through this expansion, and that looks very bad. There's nothing that Robogear has to actually stop that. So this is very painful for Robogear, and his ACU is in no man's land at this point. T2 air may end the game if Adjux was to go T2 air. A couple of torp bombers would be very hard to defend against. And it wouldn't take too many passes to take out Robogear here. Adjux making torp defense, making a lot of anti-air, as Robogear has T2 air. But Robogear really has to deal with this attack. This is the most important thing. He's gonna lose these mexes for sure. Adjux can now expand in this direction. Here Robogear has this expansion, but he's invested so much in it, and he can't actually push forward, it seems. And still, the middle completely owned. Now Adjux invested maybe too many tanks here, but that's more than fine, honestly. Having this middle and feeling very safe about it is great for him. One of the difference here you can see in the Navy is that we have 2 naval factories, one of them unassisted. It's not really what you want. This is much better from Adjux. He only builds 1 factory, which is obviously less investment. And say this factory, which is unassisted, is going to take a long time. There's going to be a long time to build any units. T1 naval units take about a minute, slightly more, to build out of an unassisted factory. So that's a minute of just nothing coming out of the factory, just mass storage here, this frigate, and that's not too efficient. But the bonus of a factory is that it is more well, it has a lot more HP for its build power than a lowly engineer. These T1 tanks have actually got the whole way into the base and are killing T2 mexes now. Both these T2 mexes are going to go down. The anti-airs doing amazing work, getting veterancies, killing inties, gunships, maybe bombers too. Robogear has returned to this location with his ACU to try and stem the tide. Robogear also trying to use submarines, but the submarines of Adjux doing quite well. And Adjux has moved to T2, and he's gone straight for a cruiser. That is the first unit, and wow, he lost 3 T2 mexes now to T1 tanks. That's brutal. And I think this game is very close to over at this point. Let's see what Robogear sees. It's a bleak picture, and he sees T2 air, he sees 7 T2 mexes here. He's losing a lot of units to Zoos. Cruiser is out, just has to avoid the submarines. Big stall for Adjux though, as all of his mass gets poured into. Oh well, here you go. This is where all of Adjux mass is going, right here. this pigeon and this destroyer. That's the majority of his. You see that the destroyer stops being built and the pigeon, and suddenly we're looking good. So pigeon is up, plenty of power now. T2 Mex is going up in the corner. He has T2 ACU. Maybe a shield wouldn't go amiss. Robogear fights on, and we speed up the game even more. This is quite impressive from Adjux. I think this gift in the middle, this single bomber killing an engineer, and then Robogear never really attempted to take this back, never found the resources or time to attempt to reclaim the middle. That really hurt him. This, however, this is quite decent. Huge damage on this T2 destroyer, and Robogear has one of his own. Second one is pretty far away. That is huge damage. Adjux. Actually, now if we look at these combined, that looks like a lot more inties than Robogear has. This destroyer is not quite killed. And this destroyer now can actually just go underwater. We might see that happen. So one way to keep your low HP destroyers alive. I mean, of course, it's not going to protect them against torpedo bombers, but it will protect them against the powerful cannons of a UEF destroyer or a UEF frigate. This cruiser doing good work, killing some torpedo bombers, killing mexes. We're going to speed up again. Robogear taking some serious damage now on his destroyer. 2 versus 1. This destroyer may have 450 HP, but still is 100% of its laser beam damage. Now there's 4 destroyers out. There's tanks returning to Robogear's base. It's like a holiday home, you know, they just come back every once in a while. It's like, oh, what's going on? Oh, they've put up a wall in the form of a triad. We've been locked out. Can't go to visit anymore. One destroyer goes down from Adjux. He's microing back and forth. Robogear finally throws in the towel. It's pretty obvious this was over for quite a while. Oh, he's even lost. Whoa. Four vets on this one. Yes, not a good matchup for Robogear. You don't want to be UEF versus Seraphim on this map, honestly. Zoe's, the destroyers, are way in Adjux's favor, honestly. But, yes. Let's move on to the next game. Do I have it here? Yes. Okay, let's close that. And we're going on to Emerald Crater now. So I was informed in the comments of the previous video that I had some misinformation about how the tournament ran, so you can read the comments there. Maybe you've seen it. Not in the last video, in the first Turbo versus Tagada one, where I explained how the maps work out. I was working based on how the first qualifier went. The second qualifier got some tweaks, I guess, to how the maps are chosen. So the 20x20 is not always last. In fact, the 20x20 map comes second. So we get a 5x5 or 10x10, followed by a 20x20 map, followed by whatever's left over, which could be any size. So that's quite good. That's actually a better system than the one I thought we were working under, and the one we were working under on in the first qualifier, which always had 20x20 last. Emerald Crater. Both players are Seraphim. Adjux definitely chose Seraphim. Again, Robogear likes his random. He could have gone random. Could have perhaps thought better of going random against such a strong player and chosen the same faction. So, let's see what the plan is for these guys. What does Seraphim have to offer at this stage? Well, on this map, it does have nice gunships, and gunships are very good on this map. Zuis are good, and Annie in all times. ACU is not too relevant on a map like this, but maybe TAC Pack could be an option. Seems like an outside chance there. So we have one engineer expanding middle, one expanding left, one going to the bottom X's. The ACU may be about to leave the base. Well, he's going to assist. You can see here you don't actually have enough resources at this point to make another factory. And this is a mistake people make. People without enough experience, they just sort of keep doing what they do on other maps, which is you just, once you start building factories, you keep building them. On this map, you don't really have enough resources. So now Robogear has enough, so he stops assisting, starts getting a third factory. Then he's going to have to go back to building power because he's about to get some expansion mexes here, and they're going to be expensive on power. We have a bomber from Robogear. Adjux not going for a bomber, going for inties, attacking his opponent, and he's actually spotted the bomber. Will he target it? Yes. Sends just a single intie. It doesn't send two. Two is too many, and he's sending those inties across the map to keep his opponent in his base while he gets his own transport up. And now his transport should get to at least one location, being completely safe. And probably it won't be caught at all, because it is difficult to spot these transports on a map this big. And he's going to this expansion. He may drop one engineer in the next location, perhaps, but it looks like he's dropping all of them here. Quite a quick transport. Similar to... seems like about the same time as Tagged does. Tagged has a slightly different approach to how he did his drop though. Dropping here and then dropping here. This seems a lot more sensible, and he has some resources in the bank to throw up that first factory. Maybe he'll get mexes immediately as well. Slight bit of downtime. We also have protection for every engineer. This tank was protecting this engineer. Now, one thing about Seraphim, there's no lab to mess you up on this map. This map can be very nasty once you get labbed. And that's one reason why I wouldn't choose Seraphim on this map. But when they're both Seraphim, neither of them has to really worry about labs. Selines are expensive and don't do very much damage, so raiding with them is a risk, and also a big APM investment, honestly, because you have to micro back and forth to actually get any kills. So here comes the bomber. It is going to do nice damage, but the factory's already up, so it's not catastrophic. It's a lot more minor than the number of kills would tell you. It nearly gets a vet level, but it's ultimately okay. That hurts though. 2 engineers and a transport die there. But look at that. That's the second transport. And that's actually caught as well. But he does get the drop off. Takes his side expansion. Adjux did not walk to the left side. So he's going to have to replace another transport. Robogear, meanwhile, though, although he's getting nice kills, getting some... I mean, catching 2 transports is good work. Here's the third one for Adjux. And actually, Adjux has not left the base. That's quite interesting. And I suppose it's because of all of these drops. He's dropping so many engineers. He needs to build power in his base. Adjux, although he's had things caught, he is expanding faster. This, much faster. He now has a factory. PD is going to make the hydro. The corners not taken for Robogear. He's about to take them now. This, no engineers here for Robogear either. And this is going for the... Oh, I thought he might be going for the corner. But no, he's just trying to find a place to drop these. He's not quite sure where to actually put these engineers. But he's going to make a little secret proxy, I guess. And try and attack this expansion from there. With some, you know, just unsuspecting Robogear may suffer some losses there. Robogear's ACU has reached this expansion and he has a Zui with him. The Zui is doing excellent work. One PD down, second PD will die very quickly, barring some misclick. And the expansion may just be lost to Adjux. Now, Robogear has no real unit support. There are no reinforcements coming here, so slightly problematic. Was that a transport? It was. Ouch. A few engineers go down. He was trying to steal the corner there, Robogear, no doubt. But now, actually, with this ACU arriving and killing this expansion, he will kill the expansion on his own, there's no doubt. This is turning the game. We also have Robogear successfully taking this expansion. Yeah, Robogear has enough units here to defend his factory. That's all he needs. The engineers may die, but as long as the factory survives, he can get out more engineers. He can also send more reinforcements, send more engineers in this direction. He has enough units here to defend. A proxy does go up for Adjux. He does not have mass now. He is lacking mass, and this could be bad. There's only engineers here, and there's a tank and a Celine. Once Robogear spots what's happening here, he may actually deny this whole expansion. Robogear also killing the middle. The middle does not look healthy at all for Adjux. And Adjux is losing map control everywhere now. Obviously much slower to this corner. He's afraid of this tank now that he knows is here, so he has to move away and try and invest in a factory, which he does not want to do here. He does not have the resources to actually afford that. Adjux has T2 air now. He's making T2 pigeon, but again, mass is a problem. And maybe this T2 air was a bit too soon, considering his situation. Or maybe the T2 pigeon is too soon. 30 mass income. I'm sure he's not upgrading any mexes. He isn't. But this looks quite bad for him now. This is going very well for Robogear. And I guess catching those transports made a big difference. You imagine we have 2 or 3 more drops from Adjux from those transports. His expansion looks a lot healthier. And we also have to point out that the ACU is still in the base, while Robogear's ACU did amazing work killing the entire expansion which Adjux had taken. And this was the most critical, I think, move in the game, was Robogear taking this expansion. Now Adjux is finally actually winning a painful war of attrition. Look at all the dead Thams. He is taking that, and he needs his reclaim yesterday, really. I hear a T2 gunship, but I do not see a T2 gunship. Maybe I don't. Maybe it's just a Celine, actually. Well, I'm sure Adjux has made gunships, but now actually I don't see any, so they probably have died. T2 air complete for Robogear. T2 mechs has been started. T2 pigeon has been started, so you can see a much later timeline for Robogear, and he has only benefited from it. The spam is beautiful. And it's everywhere. Oh, we did have a gunship. My ears did not deceive me. Well, finally gets taken out, and this expansion looks very vulnerable. Robogear sees it too. You can see what Robogear's doing, using a lot of air scouts. That's what you have to do. You have to pick your targets, find where the vulnerabilities are, and this place looks quite vulnerable. There's no anti-air here, however, so you should just run over the expansion before this gunship has much time to do damage, and that's what he's gonna do. And this expansion also going down for Adjux, and this could be game ending. Losing these two expansions right now does not look good. This attack from Adjux can't fight this army. He just has less units here now, and in a bad formation as well. The air surely is in Robogear's favor at nearly 40 inties versus, yeah, less than 20. The gunships are dying to anti-air. Oh, he actually took out the anti-air. But yeah, gunships defending against you on land attacks is really not where you want those gunships. You really would much rather the gunships were killing mexes on your opponent's side of the map that you can't reach with units, and then you defend your own expansion with PEs and units. That's the ideal. But Adjux does not have that option. And this looks like a loss for Adjux. Time for... Oh, we have a T2 support factory. T2 P... two T2 pigeons. This land factory... I suspect T2 land is coming. Yes, because why else would you build an extra T1 land factory in your base? And why did he build a new one instead of upgrading one of these ones? Well, because then his opponent doesn't actually know that he's gone T2 land until he sees a T2 unit, T2 land unit, or he actually scouts the factory. If he had upgraded one of the other ones, then Adjux would immediately know that there's T2 land. But I think it's really not too relevant now. Adjux's base is dying to T1 land units. His gunships are dying over his base now. Air is completely dominated, and we are going to go to a game 3 on this best of 3 series. Barring a snipe. Unfortunately, Adjux has lost all his gunships, so I don't see where that snipe would come from. Where is Robogear? Here he is. Has T2, of course. Doesn't have much else here. He has some T1 anti-air. Doesn't have a shield. Doesn't have flak or many units. Doesn't have the gun. So there's a lot of things he could do to protect himself a bit more, but he's not too scared, I think, at this point. Also doesn't have his air close. That's could be a problem. But he has many gunships of his own. Those beefy Vultus with over 1000 HP. Pretty strong units. And they are going to maul this T1 land. And probably this whole expansion could die to all these gunships. Could kill everything. Wow, that's a lot of unnecessary build power. Yeah, you don't want to see this. That's a pretty big waste of resources. Almost 2,000 mass there. Oh, fuck, that's terrible. Just reclaiming single trees. Well, that's what happens on a map like this. You sort of can just forget about things, especially when they're in the corner of the map and they're never on your screen and he's not even attacking there. You can easily forget about things like that. But that is quite inefficient. And now we wait. Even more gunships. There's so many. And he quickly dispatches anti-air. Yeah, that's nasty. This expansion. Oh, he's even trying to steal this expansion now, Robogear. Being moderately successful in that. And Robogear maybe should not walk away from his shield and stuff, but he is getting into the transport and going where exactly? What the hell? Why would he do that? Why would you do that? Well, he completely crushed there. So Adjux may just throw in the towel right now. This is interesting anyway. Yeah, Adjux calls GG and leaves the game. Somehow it says Robogear lost there. But that's definitely a Robogear win. So we have a deciding map. And that map is going to be Certus Major. So let's open that one up. It's been quite a good series. Robogear acquitting himself very well on this map. That last map, because Adjux is very strong. I guess maybe he has a weakness on Emerald Crater. Maybe it's not one of his better maps. I don't know. I've seen a lot of Adjux and played against him, but I'm not sure what his best kind of maps are, honestly. I guess the classic maps really where he shines, and we are on one of the most classic maps, Certus Major. So what can he do here? Will he have a special build? That's one thing Adjux is known for, is having good preparation in tournaments. But will he waste good preparation on a qualifier is my question. And I think he probably won't waste any of his best ideas here. That would be my guess. Save it for the end stages of these end of year tournaments. So let's see. The AC builds a land factory, builds 3 mass extractors, and heads to the hydrocarbon to help his first 2 engineers with their building projects. P-gens and an air factory. He will not stay to build the air factory if I had to guess. Judging by having 4 P-gens here, he may build all of them, or he'll just build some and then he'll move to the cliff and start building factories up there. Robogear with some manual reclaim. I think it's sort of underappreciated, the manual reclaim on this map. This lab may run through the middle of the map here, directly into PD dying. I really suspect that's going to happen if he doesn't catch it. Let's see where it's going. That looks like it's going to mid, doesn't it? Yes, it does. I hope he catches that, because that would be terrible. Actually, Adjux does stay to build his air factory. This is quite a quick air factory. And actually, he did need all of that power, which is kind of surprising. It's 9 P-gens second air. Well, quite nice. As soon as it's finished, he moves on with his life. Plans 3 land factories. Please tell me. Yes, yes. Robogear's paying close attention. He keeps his lab from running headlong into a point defense. And despite Adjux quickly going to second air, Robogear got there faster, but Robogear surely doesn't have enough power. We may see a stall in his near future. Adjux, meanwhile, is lacking some mass now. Could perhaps grab some with the ACU. You can see these rocks. They're quite hard to see. Maybe you can't see them. But Yes, he does lack a little bit of mass. Now this map, there is a lot of mass here. We have over 20,000 in the labels, and probably a bit extra in rocks that are too small to show the labels. So it's very important to grab as much of that as you can, as fast as you can, and use it as fast as you can. This lab may get an engineer kill. He's going to try and hide the engineer, but he doesn't succeed. Maybe if Adjux had hid behind the factory. Oh my god, no, the lab stopped moving. And the engineer survives. That's a bomber though. At the same time, gets an engineer kill. Oh, if he had killed this engineer, it would have been so nice. But a slight miss micro, and Adjux is not dodging. That's 2 engineers now. 2 expanding engineers go down. That is nasty. Adjux definitely had the better build order there. Will he save the bomber? No. But Robogear should win air here. And another bomber is immediately on its way. I like it. That's good stuff. But what's the base building like? Oh no! Robogear hasn't built any power since we last checked. And that is a critical mistake. And he actually loses air somehow. How did that happen? He's going to get another engineer kill. And he's going to deny the factory. Which is about as good as he can hope for. But he's not really going to kill anything else. That would be juicy right here. Do it. Yes. Go on. Please drop. Oh, there's a bit of a dodge. Still 2 engineers go down. He does damage to 2 THAMs. Quite big damage. So those bombers were very good, but this could be the most critical thing here. Just not building power. And now he's been stalling for quite a while. And his tank count is minuscule. 5 tanks now versus 12 and 5 Zoes. The middle is already under fire from Adjux's Zoes. Also should be noted that we have Seraphim versus UEF again. Not so strange to have UEF on this map as it is to have them on I have the Storm, but oops. Seraphim. Would I prefer Seraphim or UEF here? It's actually hard to say, honestly. I think they're very close factions. T2 stage is very important here, though. And, well, at the minute we do have Mongoose, which is maybe a little too good. We have shields, pillars. But on the other side, we do have the best T2 bot, and in the form of the Ilshavo. And it's supporting cast of Zoes. And the ACU is very similar. Very powerful on both sides. No economy from actually either player yet. So they're both very concerned with their expansion. You can see Robogear got the expansion advantage from this bomber killing the first bomber, killing the 2 engineers that are already in this location. So Adjux would have been faster in his expansion. He was faster in this expansion, but Robogear's bomber denied that. We have a PD up here, but no walls. They're going to be built later, and Adjux is taking so much of this mass. However, that's very smart from Robogear. He can't take the mass, so he will destroy as much of the mass as he can with ground fire. That's not correct, though. There's no way he's reclaiming 93 mass for that long, so I don't know what the labels are doing there. They're kind of bugged. Like, Adjux got so much of that mass. And these buildings are quite juicy. This flak is juicy. We got a P-gen here as well. There's a lot of mass here, and Robogear has gotten none of it. He's way too late to that expansion, to the middle. And That's nasty now. Let's see the reclaim count. 5.7k to 4.4. That is a big difference. And Adjux is just going to tank some damage and take even more reclaim. Over 6,000 now. You can see how fast it's jumping. 6.3. Robogear finally gets a bit by taking that flak. But Adjux is going to take the last building. And he is going to peace out. He got what he wanted. And now he's going home. On the right side, attacking into the expansion, doing nice damage. This PD is out of place. And the engineer is out of time. Getting blasted into oblivion. And oh wow, we have quite fast T2 land. Faster than Adjux. But Adjux is on T2 land now. He has 2 T2 mexes. Actually, third one is just finished. Versus 1 and a bit T2 mexes. 1 and a quarter. So the pillars are out. They may be able to hold off this location, but damage has been done. Robogear is also making T2 on his commander. This is an expensive upgrade to make right now. Wow, a lot of mass in the bank, so he should be making those support factories. Where are the support factories? There's 1. There's 2. No adjacency, unfortunately. Do have a Sparky as well, planning a TML in the classic location. From here, he can hit everything. Well, he could ground fire the factory even. It's just on the edge of his range. Needs to get a couple of pillars on the top side to defend his PD, and the PD can defend them as well. All his pillars have been sent to the bottom to deal with this, but those pillars can only really do damage in this location because the ACU is here. Adjux also making T2 on his commander. Will we see the gun come up straight away for Robogear? I think we might. Still no pillars heading to the top. And still no support factories are finished. He should be maybe assisting them. Also have a lot of reclaim still on the map to be taken. Far too many engineers over here. You can see how inefficient this is. Most of the engineers are walking at any given moment, and these little bits are not that useful. You want the rocks. So that's not great now. We have 4 T2 mexes. 5, sorry. Adjux has 1, 2, 3, 4. So not bad ecoing from Robogear. He's doing alright. He has T2 now. And he needs to start using his units. There's very few units on the top side now. There's basically these guys. The reinforcements are not exactly coming thick and fast. Oh, but look at that. We have T2 Air, actually. T2 Air is up for Adjux. 2 T2 support factories. With adjacency, you'll notice. Not like Robogears, which are just around his HQ. And the faster T2 has not done much of anything for Robogear, I would say. His P-Gen wasn't really faster. His... Wow, Adjux is making a third T2 P-Gen. That might be excessive. Unless he wants to go for some serious upgrades like Nano. He could go for Nano right now, actually, with that overflow. Certainly the gun is always on the table. And now these pillars, these are the pillars that he's been building at the start of the game, or at the start of his T2 stage. It wasn't the fastest T2 stage, but it's certainly quicker than Adjux. But they're going to be met now with all of these. Oh wow, another support factory. All of these Seraphim Ilshavos and I can't see that going too well for the poor pillars, honestly. Adjux with some nice micro, maintaining his range advantage, not allowing the pillars to close in. And on the top side, well, this is a terrible misclick here. Just a move order given to about here, meaning the units split and some of them go down to the bottom of the mountain, others are on top, and the ones on the top are getting annihilated. The PD will also go down because there's a lot of Zuis here. This is quite nasty. The TML is built, but it has not killed anything because we have TMDs built by this ACU. Adjux has only invested in T2. Robogear has T2 and the gun, and Adjux is quickly building PDs to defend. Even has MMLs in the middle to win any potential T2 PD war that might happen. And Adjux looking in a really good spot right now. Look at this. Look at this win. How does he win a T2 fight versus most of Robogear's T2 army right outside Robogear's base? And now he's been lured in too deep, and he may lose many of these Ushvo. He may lose all 5 of these. But will he lose the reclaim? He has so many engineers here already, ready to grab it. And you can see how powerful the Ushvo are. Still, only 2 of the Ushvo have died. Pillars, although they have huge amount of HP for their mass, their damage is less than stellar. And these Ushis have 2500 HP. They're beefy. They are eventually going to go down. There they go. But these pillars have to immediately come back and try and deny this reclaim. And allow his own engineers to take it. The ACU upgrades have been less than useful for Robogear. He really has not done much with them. Adjux with 1 upgrade did far more than Robogear did with 1. And the expansion of Robogear is not looking healthy. There is mass here, but again, he still can't take it. Only pillars arriving now. And as they arrive, well, there's 4 Ilshavo here and gunships. Not gunships, flak. So we gotta switch. We're gonna get some mongoose mixed in there with the shield, but not very many of them. The more mongoose get, these kind of range bots get much better when you have critical mass of them. Three or four of them is really not impressive at all because they don't have the damage to really mark things as soon as they come into range. But when you have 8 or 10 of them with a shield or 2, then it gets a bit scarier. You can start doing a lot of damage quickly. So let's see if Robogear can come back here, because it looks quite bad for him right now. Air fight, and that looks bad for Robogear again. That looks very bad, actually. Surely Adjux wins this. Micro is not too relevant, but decent micro from both players. Adjux wins that so comfortably. Now his ACU, Robogear's ACU. Oh, that's a nice overcharge. You can see Adjux just. How does he have engineers everywhere, getting all the reclaim? He has 6k more reclaim. Which actually is not as much more as I would have expected, even, but it's plenty more. The TML has killed one single thing. Did 600 mass worth of damage. What did he kill with that? What did he kill with that? I actually have no idea. Still, I'm just putting pressure every part of the map now. Now finally this ACU clears out these units. He got some Ilshavo kills. You can see here, these guys probably got overcharged. Now he needs to get this reclaim. Needs to get it fast. But how can he stop these units? There's already MMLs here to deal with the triads. Those triads won't that triad won't last long. Has done some damage, but it will be dead soon. There's air flying directly over Robogear's base. This flak has quite a lot of kills, and we have engineers dispatched to this reclaim field. Adjux now, thanks to this reclaim field, is almost 10,000 mass ahead now. He was 6k. How long ago? 30 seconds ago? A minute ago? Now 9k ahead. And Adjux making a lot of economy now. Almost full T2 mechs across his bases. He's also adding storages in his main base. So he's going far ahead of Robogear in economy, and the bots are doing amazing work, and he's also moving to T3 land. Robogear says GG. How can he fight this army? Look at this. No chance. And oh, he's actually even losing his economy to these Nothas. The only fighter bomber that can kill UEF T2 mechs with 2 bombs. So there we go. Very nice work from Adjux. We can see his strength on these most classic maps. And yeah, Robogear just couldn't stand with them. Adjux got the mid reclaim. I think that was extremely important. All this reclaim that Adjux got in the middle was just Robogear couldn't afford to give that up. So yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. Check out the links and tune in for more coverage soon of this tournament, future qualifiers, and of course the end of year tournament. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.